one.
Permit application from Mr. McKenzie, William Sarah McKenzie. I went over and I looked at what he's proposing. I don't know if you guys have looked at the drawing.
I did.
Okay.
Looks to me like you're just joining the house with the shop, is that right? And
Well-
forming a breezeway?
The breezeway, yes.
Back of my house has already got the walls and the concrete there from before we bought it. All I would like to do is take the flat roof off that will leak, put 5 more trusses there, and then carry them to the shop, which is 4 more. It just makes the breezeway and make the whole roof so that it has a pitched roof.
Okay.
I'm not changing any walls, I'm gonna put 4 trusses between the shop and the house, and 5 trusses to peak my roof over the existing walls that are already there.
And he's doing this in preparation so they can re-roof his entire building.
Okay.
Which cannot be insured because it has to
Gotta
have
have
a
a
roof.
new roof, so, yeah. So,
And the width of that breezeway is the same width as the house, not the
One
shop,
is
right?
8 foot exact and one is 8 foot 10.
it's an 8-foot width of the house.
8 foot 10 from
Yeah.
the house out to the back end of the porch, and 8 foot exact from there to the shop, I believe.
Yeah.
Is what, I think is what it was. That's what it looks like. And they're 25 foot wide. I'll have all brand new engineered trusses made. I can build them myself, but if you get engineered trusses made, they're already tested and they're already guaranteed.
So my question is the width of the breezeway the same width as the house
Yes.
or the same width as the shop? Because
Same
the
width.
shop
No,
is
same as
wider
the
than
house.
the
Width
house.
is the house,
I'm not
Okay.
adding.
the house,
Okay,
yeah.
It's wide as a house and it just goes 8 feet out, which is basically the corner of the house would kind of re-rect in the same
okay.
touch thing.
That's all my questions. I think you had a question in the gallery?
Yes.
Yeah, with his shop,
You need
which,
this?
no, I haven't. With his shop, which is 40 by 50,
Yes, sir.
and 12 foot of it's on city property.
That's
No,
not,
sir, it's
that's
not.
not at the, up for debate right now. We're
I
just
know,
talking about this.
I'm just stating a
I
fact.
have an easement that,
Yes, he does have an easement.
I'm stating a fact, and I'm using it as background, which I think I have a right to
We have 3 minutes.
do, without interruptions.
Yep.
Okay, there's 2 concerns. Number 1 is, it should not be built on city property. Number 2 is, he's already sitting at 43% and the ordinances allow 40. Now, if he adds this on, and all of it is new, or even a part of it, it's gonna put it up around 50%. And that's against the ordinances. And also, by looking at this drawing, I don't see any guarantee. Fact is, because this drawing is inadequate, it doesn't show the boundaries of the property, it doesn't show the dimensions. Therefore, I, quite honestly, a little bit in a quandary is why you would even look at this, seems it wasn't drawn up properly. But considering the fact that he's already over 40%, and if you add this, he'd be around 50%, and it very well might be built on city property, I think it's a no-brainer. It's not possibly be illegal. I mean, that's just the way it is. So if you guys approve this, going against the ordinances, you're actually breaking the law.
Well, thank you, Mr. Curley, for your comment. However, I can tell you that his breezeway is on his property. It's on no easement. And it's the same property lines, or the same as his house. When he roofs that, and actually I imagine, because he's gonna have 4 posts holding that up, there's gonna be grass underneath it. So it's the same as his yard. Other than it will allow him to go out to where he parks his car in the back, or get closer to his shop without having to shovel 2 feet of snow. but
Well, even so, it's,
My question is it living space?
No, sir.
Okay,
It's a
then
breezeway.
you're talking about living space.
No, no, no.
no, he's talking about the shop.
You're entitled to have covered
40%.
patio.
Yeah, but that's also
And
part
that's
of the
not going
percentage.
to
That's
be
also
approved.
part of the
Okay,
percentage
let
that
me
is
help you
allowed
out.
according to
Yeah.
city ordinances allow 40%. And that includes
40% what?
of any kind of
Coverage on a property.
shed or roof or.
Livable coverage
No.
or
Even
coverage?
if it's a deck or anything, or a bird house that you build in your backyard that brings you up, but my yard is 7,000 square feet. My
Okay.
house is 1,100, and my shop is 2,000. That's 3,100 out of 7,000, that leaves me 39. His math is not very good. However, I also have an easement for the rest of my life, that it's not my property, but I have the easement.
Right.
I am at about 38%, and that breezeway is not causing any problem whatsoever. I have built to Billings codes for the last 30 years. It's nothing illegal, it's on my property, and there's not one damn bit of it on the easement.
That's correct,
Right, we understand that.
yes.
Okay.
I do
And
think
well,
the sidewalk was brought out on city property.
But that was done before I was ever there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why he
I
has
didn't
an
bring it
easement
here.
on the city property.
Right in front of his house, everybody could go right past there like that. What
In
you're,
front of his house.
well, go by and look.
There's 13 feet of it
Speak up.
comes out of my front driveway. There's a 13-foot sidewalk. It's been poured before I ever bought the house. Now, someone in the town of Fromberg gave her the ability to do that. I didn't. It was there when I got it. I didn't pour it. What else do you want?
No, okay, no, that's fine.
That's
That is
fine.
fine.
That's
Yeah.
fine.
That is fine. We're good. The only thing that we are discussing here tonight, not the sidewalk in front of the house,
Not the easement.
not the easement, not the shop. We are discussing the breezeway. Everybody in this town has a legal right to put a roof, to re-roof his house. And that's what he's gonna do. And then he's gonna add a breezeway to that. And that's what he's here for. Is to get an approval so that he can put his breezeway. And the breezeway is on his property.
It'll stay under 40%.
Yes.
I'm sorry, but his math is off.
Is it?
He is sitting right now, if you're looking at the house, at 1,100, and the shop's at 2,000. That puts him at about 43% right now. Now, I'm not sure what percentage of that breezeway is going to be new, but it doesn't really matter because it's still way over 40%. It's against the city ordinances to adopt this proposal, strictly on that basis.
But didn't you say that the walls are already built? They're already there?
Well,
So
see, now
you're
that
just
has-
putting a roof over it?
That has nothing to do with it. What he is doing is he's re-roofing his house. He's going, in the back, you'll see that there is a porch built on there with a flat roof. He is going to replace that flat roof with a peaked roof. Now, that's his legal right to do that. Then he's gonna put a breezeway the same width as his house that goes 8 feet. And there's gonna be grass underneath it, it's not gonna be, it may be tied to the existing house, but if the house were to move, the breezeway would stay. Which makes different kinds of rules. Yes,
According to this, the total thing is roughly 25 feet by 17. And it also says that the corner of the shop will be attached to it. Now, because there's no directions on this and there's no lot drawn, it's a little bit confusing exactly where he's gonna attach what, but it does say that those trusses are gonna be attached to the shop itself.
Only one.
Whatever, you're still dealing with attaching to the shop, and you're still dealing with dimensions that are 25 feet by 17 feet. That puts way over 40%, it's about 50.
You're not realizing part of that to the existing house.
Not very much, because that little flat roof part is not very big. It's a whole lot smaller than what's on here, that's
No,
for
it is
sure.
not.
No, it is not. It's
No.
exactly that. Now, if you
You're
wanna
saying- you're
continue
saying
to
that
push.
Just a
excuse me,
second, now just a second.
Just a minute, I have something I'd like to say.
Yes.
If you
Now,
wanna
if you-
continue to push this at 40%, I can go across the street, somebody's gonna be tearing down a lot of stuff around their house.
Yeah.
Don't
So
say stuff like that.
what we're talking about is only the breezeway.
Breezeway.
We're not talking about his ability to re-roof his house.
I was told I didn't need a permit for
You don't.
roofing.
Everybody in town can go roof their house without getting a permit. And that's what you're gonna do. What you came in for to get the permit on is only the breezeway, which is 8 feet held up by 4 posts that you can drive a lawnmower through, which you'll have to because there's gonna be grass.
I don't think that's what this diagram shows.
Tim went and looked at it, and
I did, yes.
But at any rate,
I
it's
didn't
still,
have any problem
it's
with
still
it.
way over, it's way over
What are you,
40%.
what's your percentage on your place?
Way under 40.
What is it?
I don't know, but it's way under 40.
You don't know what
I
yours
did
is, but you
figure-
know what his is? That's
Yes,
kinda
because his is the one that's up for debate. When I put in for my shed, I had to present all that information.
you didn't give.
You
us
guys
a
had it,
percentage.
you had the percentage listed, it was no problem. In this case here, you're way over 40%, that's real easy to measure. It's not even up for grabs. What you guys are doing is seeking to approve something that is totally against the ordinances.
Well, you built on your property for the last 3 years with no
Okay.
permit whatsoever.
That's not true.
Yeah, it is.
I
No,
got
no.
a permit.
Please,
every time.
gentlemen.
Second.
Ordinance for
Don't talk.
that. It's just a
Tammy?
shelter.
I have one question on this trust deal and on this breezeway. I'm assuming that posts are going in,
Yes.
so posts are going in off the corners of the house,
Yes.
is that correct?
Yes.
Is that house 15 feet from the neighbors, the property line? Because our setbacks are 15 feet on any.
They're not after they're built. They are if you rebuild. They are set in line with the house. There will be four big posts to hold up 4 trusses. It's,
Well, no, I'm just saying that if you build, I have
know.
to, if I build anything, if I'm to build a porch off of my place, I have to make sure that I'm 15 feet from my property line.
If it's
That's
new,
all my-
if it's a new structure.
Structure,
Yeah.
yeah, that's all I'm
Right.
asking. I'm
Yeah.
not,
Yeah, I don't know how far his property line is to the edge of the house.
which
Do you
edge of my,
know?
which edge of my house? One side's got most of the shop on it.
No, the other.
The other side.
On your
would be-
north side.
Well, it's 5 feet plus about 10. It's just under that anyway. But the roof is, the wall is already there.
Well, we're not talking about the porch.
No,
We're talking about the breezeway.
right, and it's pulled plumb over to where the new concrete is already.
So if your posts are 15 feet away from the edge of the property,
I don't know how far they would be, sir.
No, I don't know either.
I think that'd only be about 6 to 8 feet in from the property line. But
The fence that's there, that chain link between ours
Yeah.
and Rob's is
Yeah.
the property line,
okay,
the fence.
and that's about,
it's 6, 8 feet at least away from it.
Mhm.
My house goes within 2 feet of the property line.
Mhm.
So the little place back there that would be part of the breezeway, it's at least probably 8 feet away from the property line, but I'm not building there.
okay.
So does that mean I could only take and put a roof on half of my back porch?
No, the
Got to
the
stay
roof
15
is
feet apart.
fine, cause it's already,
There's a bunch of,
If the,
wait a minute, it's the,
I think the only thing that is at contention is anything new, any new structure.
yeah.
that's correct.
so
That's-
Would
that's all
that,
we're
would that
discussing.
even be
That's
considered
all we're discussing.
structure?
Well,
Because
that's what
there's
I'm
the-
asking.
There's no walls to it. There's no floor to it.
If the
If you
ordinance reads that you can only have 40% covered of your property, then we gotta make sure that he's within the parameters to approve this.
Okay.
We've gone down the road of thinking, well, that's pretty darn close, let's give her a stamp.
Yeah.
And it hasn't worked for us very well up till now. And I don't think that this drawing tells me enough to be able to approve this tonight.
okay.
He's got 45% because he's on a corner lot.
45%?
Right.
Okay.
It's right on the front of the
And
thing.
my lot is 50 by 150 is what they told me.
Okay, so that's
That's
what,
what he
His
said,
lot is-
7,000.
7,000?
Your lot's
Okay.
150, or 50 by 140. That's a standard
That's still
lot.
7,000.
Yeah.
That's 7,000.
My house is
Okay.
1,000 to 1,100.
1,100?
It's 25 by 50.
Okay,
Then I have a 2,000 square foot shop
So you got 3,100
out of 7,000.
bar.
I don't think that's 40% or 48%.
You get
that gives me 39. Of
And the
7.
breezeway would be, it's covered, it's not a structure, but it would be 200 square feet.
Over 200?
Yeah.
Okay, so add that,
8 feet by,
8 feet by 25, full width of the house.
41.
Okay,
Divided by 7 is what?
well, maybe 40.
I don't have my, look at my phone.
what's 5.85?
5.85?
What's that?
He asked what 41 divided by 7 was.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
You have 4,100 covered of 7,000.
I
So
have
what's that?
3,100 covered.
No,
He's got 3,100 to start with.
2,000
And 1,100.
and 1,100 and 200.
Well, that's what we're asking, can I build?
Down to 33.
33? Okay.
And that's
33.
still, that should
That's
be right
less than
about
half.
that. It's right about the
It's-
45.
It's close, let's see if it's 45.
Yeah.
Hmm.
50
If
would be
it's 45, I'll approve it.
Okay,
50% is 35, so,
3,100 leaves you 400.
yeah.
3150 is 45% of 7,000.
So we're still
Okay.
under.
I make a motion to approve.
Do we have a second?
I'll second
We have a motion and a second to approve the zoning permit for Mr. McKenzie for Breezeway.
Thank you, I appreciate it. And I can go ahead and roof my
Okay.
house, right?
that.
Yes,
We're gonna vote on it.
Did we vote?
I'm not roofing my house.
no. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, I appreciate it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You need us here for anything else?
Nope.
No, that will work. Thank you.
So I would like to say, your math is still off. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
it's not right.
thank you for your comments. Do we have any correspondence?
No.
Anything from the town attorney?
Nope.
Public Works Director?
Nope.
What are you been up to?
We're on the list for the weed district to come do the baseball field and the lagoons.
Okay.
So that should be done.
Okay.
Well, I got all those parking curbs put out, or curb stops, whatever you wanna call
Okay.
them. And then I've been stuck at the lagoons for like a week or so, cause of that disaster.
Unfortunate things.
Somebody-
What happened?
Well, somebody flushed a sock down there, so if you're missing a pink sparkly sock, I've got it. But to pull the pumps up, the one cable broke from
With it in the air, basically.
sitting in that water.
Yeah.
Okay.
Road.
It is very close. And one of the things that Jay has done is he's ordered some stainless steel cable, pretty spendy, and it's on order.
Does that eliminate the corrosion?
I think so, cause I don't think the ones that were on there were stainless.
Yeah.
Explain to him what happened when that one broke.
Well, the one broke, I'm guessing probably 5, 6 feet up in the air. Yeah, so it slid all the way down there. It works. And it was the only one we had working for a while.
However,
When it fell,
what damage did it do?
it sheared the cable to the other pump.
The
And
electrical
then it-
cable?
Yep, and then it landed on the transducer down in there. So everything so far is fine.
Wow.
Yeah.
But I pulled the other one up to try to fix it, and when it got to the top, and that cable started coming apart. So they're both stuck down there right now. So don't flush anything, because otherwise I gotta fish for a while and try to hook a little bracket.
So, alright, do you have everything it takes to fix this stuff, or are we gonna have to bring somebody in?
They're on order. The cables are, and Taylor Electric has been out here like every day.
That was one of the things with Taylor Electric, so part of that's
How
paid.
do you
Okay.
really have to
Yeah.
think?
Uh,
It is.
One of the things that I have done is, I got a friend here in town that's an engineer who designs a lot of different stuff for different projects. And I would ask him just to look at it and maybe come up with some ideas. What we have down there is a disaster waiting to happen. We averted it this time. But it will happen again if we continue to do the same thing that we have been doing. We have 2 pumps with the cables right now hanging in the water
Yeah.
that stuff is corrosive. And that cable is unhooked from our hand pulley and wrapped around a deal inside of the station there, below ground. Both of them are. Both cables are disconnected and wrapped around. So anytime you need to pull one, you have to like lift the lid, unwrap the cable, hook it up, and then start cranking it up. And then it break again. I'm asking this friend of mine if he will go down and figure out some way that we can get away from having to deal with that mess. Because those cables can come undone at any time, and then we got a cable wrapped up in our pumps. We
Well,
both
and
have-
if I would have been standing on the other side, that cable would have cut my head off, so.
Yeah, it's, they're
Well,
very-
I caution you, Tim, about hiring people without going through the council.
well, I'm just gonna have him look at it. It's not-
Well,
I'm not gonna
nobody,
pay.
nobody does anything for free, I wouldn't think, especially
Well,
If
somebody.
it's
He just
under
gonna look
80,000, you
It's-
don't
it's
have
a
to have
mind
How much?
selection. Under 80,000, you don't have to have a competitive selection process, you can just
No,
hire
but
somebody.
the.
But yeah, if you might still want council approval, I'm just saying it
still
doesn't
needs
need
to
a
approve it.
selection.
but once we
Like
get some
the school.
ideas,
She's got $1,000 to play with up there without,
You know how long $1,000 lasts with a
long enough to get into
Big-
trouble.
big dollar guy?
Yeah.
but to build a thing and engineer all that,
Yeah.
then that will have to be done separately.
Yeah.
But what I'm after now is just some ideas, because what we have is a problem,
Needs to be dealt with
and needs to be dealt with.
before it's big money.
Yes, because, I mean, we could have had everybody, the sewer running down the road.
Yeah.
getting into the river.
It did get really high.
So, yeah, it's something that we need to address.
Yeah.
And Jay is working on it to get it back to where it's functionable, but we need to make it better. It was a poor design, in my opinion, to start with.
I agree.
That's unfortunate, because we paid big money for that.
Yes, I agree. And we didn't anticipate that kind of problem. Yes,
One
Marge?
thing, when you talk about that, a long time ago, they used to give us some junk to put in your toilet, and it went through your sewer and it eliminated a lot of smell. It was supposed to kind of clean up these old sewer pipes. I don't know if that cost money, you know, it probably did cost you, I don't know.
In the
But it
toilet?
really helped.
You're talking about in the toilet?
Yeah.
It was a degreaser.
It
No,
really
No,
helped.
it was a bio
It's an
Bacteria
enzyme.
stuff.
enzyme.
Yeah.
Was that
Yeah.
stuff?
They used
Uh-huh.
to bring packets up to school with flood.
Oh,
Can we
really?
still use that with the bugs and stuff though?
I don't know.
Just,
All that stuff I try to ask first.
I was gonna say, I would check with
Yeah.
Chad on that.
Yeah, we,
If we kill those bugs.
Because
That's a
even
bad
like
thing.
when they spray weed down there, they
Yeah,
have to
that's-
be,
Mhm.
they have to be
Okay.
careful.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, okay. What else, Jay?
I don't know, I was stuck there for a while.
I know Jay's working on some of the, gonna be tearing up the street and trying to get some of that done. Weather cooperates. And the
Right.
dump truck.
Bright spot in the sky comes out.
Yeah, well, right now our dump truck is down and he's gotta work on it to get it done.
We were on for about an hour and then quit.
Yeah.
It was like,
Water in the tank.
yeah.
Not something terrible, but it's something that needs to be worked on. So,
I can't think of much else.
yes.
Start mowing soon.
Working on that pump house, the old one. You guys did a lot of work down there.
Kind of an update on that,
Cleaned it up around there.
yeah. Jay has been, and Lacey, and myself been down to the old pump house. We got the roof pulled off, and we pressure washed it, we scraped it, and we're gonna have to scrape it again. We may end up having to pressure wash it again, but then we're gonna paint it, and then the kids at school are gonna come down and put some murals on it.
Cool.
That's something that Jay and Nate are gonna be looking at and working with. So, and he's been working down there to clean up that mess. It's been a dump spot,
Eyesore.
it's an eyesore for a long time.
Well, they just dumped random stuff down there. Metal and,
That's the problem.
yeah,
Yeah.
railroad ties.
And one napkin and somebody drives by and drops another napkin and then somebody drops.
Paddles.
Yeah. Okay, no.
Yeah. And there is actually, we got some great big old tires down there that we need to get rid of. And anybody knows somebody that would have a use for those tires? Because it would cost the city money to throw them in the dumpster. I mean, they're pretty good sized tires.
Yeah, they're huge.
Well, if you can
Lacey?
get them to my house, I'll take them. My goats will play on them.
Okay, do you guys have a
They'll love
problem
those
or?
things.
No?
But cleaning up
Very
that
good
junk
use in
down there,
that.
yeah, okay, great. Get rid of some of that stuff down there that's junk. And you were gonna work on that, get rid of that
Probably.
fence down there? Or what did you decide on that, around the pump house? Around the pump,
Oh, I didn't even look at it today. I didn't have a chance.
okay.
I
I
looked
know
at
the
it when I
windows,
called you and that was it.
I know the windows kinda blowed that fence down that's around that #1 pump.
Oh, you'll get it.
And we need to get that cleaned up.
Yeah, it took another chunk of that out of there.
We're just gonna jerk it out, and I don't know if we need to put some kind of protection barriers around those wells, to keep somebody from backing into them, or something, I don't know.
There's nothing around that other one and it's
Yeah, I know,
been fine.
but if we make a park down there and somebody's driving down there, that's just an idea, just a thought, you think about it. It's kinda your project, so.
Okay.
Think about what we could do to make it look better, to make it safe.
Right.
Anything else? Do you have any other questions for the Public Works? Town clerk?
I don't have anything unless you have any questions for me.
No? Any questions? Okay. This is time when the mayor gets to bring up some concerns and for the council that is not otherwise listed on the agenda. No action can be taken. One of the things that I would like to address is our animal ordinance. It was brought to my attention about some animals here in town. And I need everybody to understand that yes, we're gonna follow the ordinances. However, you have to be careful about poking the beehive. And what the animal ordinance states, and actually it's a really good ordinance. I really like the ordinance. And I think it's something that we'll try to keep in our current ordinances. But it has here animal regulations. When used in this title, the following words and phrases have the meanings ascribed to them in this section. A, animal. Owner means any person keeping an animal. Keeping means owning, maintaining, sheltering, harboring, or otherwise retaining control over or possession of an animal. At large refers to an animal off the premises of the owner and not under the control of the owner or any other persons by leash or chain. The keeping of swine within the limits of the town is prohibited. Nobody can have a pig in town. That's just, that's the rule. And I can understand why.
Yeah, when I go down the street, I think maybe there are a few.
Yeah. Okay, small animals. The keeping of ducks, geese, guineas, peafowl, cats, rabbits, and other small animals and rodents within the limits of the town is permitted, provided that the aggregate number of such animals kept within one household or any one premise does not exceed the 3 animals. The keeping of more than 3 animals as such is prohibited, except that when a natural increase of the number of such animal occurs. The owner shall have 45 days to dispose of the number of animals in excess of 3. So like I say, if I poke the hornet's nest, how many people in town have more than 3 cats? There are several.
Oh, okay.
There are several. And I know